Welcome back to the void that is the Shoalhaven. So today I'm actually going to be talking about one place in particular, but a couple of different people. Nowra Cemetery, which is actually like just a couple of roads over. And I go there quite a lot, so that's why I'm doing this one. So look, over my lifetime I've heard so many people say that they've seen things in this cemetery. And firstly, I just want to put this out there. The amount of cemeteries that actually are haunted are pretty low. Not many people stay attached to the place that they were buried. There's more an attachment to the place of passing or a significant place to that person. So generally, there's not much attachment to the burial place, but I'm actually going to talk about two people who I've actually felt their presence within the cemetery. I haven't seen them, but I've felt an overwhelming presence. And I'm not saying that people who have actually seen things in there aren't seeing things. I'm not saying that, but there is definite presence of two people that I have figured out who they are. Okay, so focusing on number one, and this is tragic. I'll do a little trigger warning, suicide mention. Okay, so this grave is so isolated. So she's still completely on her own because of the stigma that was associated with suicide at the time. So she was a 35-year-old pregnant mother, heavily pregnant. So she only had 6 weeks to go. And she was sadly found hanging by her son Robert, who was 13 years old. So her full name is Louisa Jane de Mr. Livingston Whitehall. As I said, 35 years old and unborn child, which is mentioned on her tombstone, which faces the complete opposite way to the rest of the graves. It's really sad. It's really, really, really sad. So you can actually feel her presence, but she is not there. It's not like she's bound there or anything like that. It might be more a fact that I walk through there with my kids. Could be that. She might not just make herself known to any old person. Who knows? But moving on, the second presence that I have figured out who it is, and once again, this person isn't bound to this spot or anything like that, and I haven't actually seen them. But while I was admiring the tombstone of this individual, I did feel a really, really imposing presence. Just briefly, really, really briefly. So John Smith, Nowra's first white resident, first white resident, John Smith. So his wife, Jane, there's actually a street named after her, and I'm doing her in another one. Okay, there is a street in Nowra that's named after Jane. So, first resident of Nowra, doesn't want to piss off. Go somewhere else, you can go anywhere, man. But this next one is in the cemetery, but it is not of spiritual nature, possibly. I don't really know what it is. So, this witness, 32 years old, this was back when the Archer Resort had a nightclub called Legends. So this individual was actually walking past Legends, and it wasn't night, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they observed 3 little lights just manoeuvring around in the graveyard. So they weren't in the sky, they were just manoeuvring around in the graveyard. And they actually thought that it might have been a UFO. I had someone else suggest that was there when this story was shared, suggested that it could possibly be Min-Mins. I really don't know. I don't know, so. But I thought that was too cool not to actually mention the little lights. So there is that. Now, this isn't in the graveyard. This is actually from Currarong. This is from Kinghorn Point, Currarong. So this individual turned up at the beach at 6 a.m. in the morning to go surfing. And as he was getting his surfboard, out of his car, he actually could feel that there was someone or something watching him. Okay, and he was looking around and he couldn't actually see anything, but he could feel it, right? And he got this overwhelming feeling of dread that he had to leave. So he didn't straight away. Stupid. And whatever it was that was watching him started to throw rocks at him and his car. And he did actually end up getting in his car. And as he was reversing, he said he got a glimpse just in the revision mirror of a really huge, imposing size, humanoid, hairy man. I'm going to say cryptid because that's what it is. Yeah. So to any of the Indigenous members watching, please do comment and say whether you think it might have been a Dulgar or not. But yeah, big hairy man. So I'll leave it at that.